Livvy and Marna. Thank you, Mazel Tov. And thank you everybody for coming and joining us for the Bat Mitzvahs, or what's that? Benot Mitzvah, thank you. Thanks for the correction. So just technical stuff. Everybody please take out your phones and put on to vibrate so that therefore we don't disturb the ceremony. We have professional photographers here to take the pictures. If you want to take pictures, you can. Just make sure it doesn't make any noise. This way we don't disturb the girls who prepared very diligently. Thank you, and Mazel Tov, and the floor is yours. Go ahead. Mazel Tov.
Do I just go? Yep. Yeah. Thank you. Is this on?
Yeah, it's on.
Okay. Thank you to everyone. I don't think it's on. Oh, it's on. Okay. Thank you to everyone here today, both in person and online, for joining us as we celebrate the occasion of Gabby and I becoming Bat Mitzvah. Today we celebrate this occasion as we step up to become official adults and proud members of the Jewish community. With this life cycle milestone, we now officially become the next link in the chain of powerful, capable, and strong Jewish women that came before us. We don't stand here alone. Instead, we stand on the virtual shoulders of the people that have came before us. Some who are here today, some who are not, yet very much missed, and others that are part of the rich Jewish heritage that came before us. These are the people that inspire us as we step up to begin this journey of forming our own relationship and connection to Judaism and the Jewish people. So what's the big deal about a Bat Mitzvah? During our Bat Mitzvah preparation with Devorah and through our years in Chabad Hebrew School, we learned many new things. We studied about the importance of Bat Mitzvah. We discussed the values and virtues we hope to aspire to as Jewish women, and we learned about the special Jewish holidays and mitzvot to which we are uniquely connected. During our ceremony, we hope to share some of these things with you. Bat Mitzvah literally translates to mean a daughter of mitzvah. According to Jewish tradition, when a girl reaches the age of 12 and when a boy reaches the age of 13, Judaism considers them adults. While we may not be old enough to drive, own a house, get a real job, or live on our own, Judaism recognizes us even at this age for our potential and ability to be contributing members of the Jewish community. With each of our unique personalities, gifts, and talents, we can make this world a better place.
What is so significant about these birthdays, though, that makes us considered to be adults? It's no secret that I'm only in middle school and hardly resemble or even act like an adult. Honestly, not much feels like it's changing for us. The answer to this question is based on our spiritual component, specifically our souls. Our tradition teaches us that each Jew is created with a godly soul, also called our neshama. In truth, we are actually born with two souls. Our godly soul, the one that guides us to do good and holy things, and our animal soul, the part of us that is more interested in making things that make us feel good and come easily. At birth, our animal soul is most prominent influence in our lives. This isn't a bad thing. God made it this way because young children really do need more assistance as they grow into their ability to take care of themselves. As we get older, though, our godly soul begins to step up and take a more active role in our life. This means that we should be thinking more about how what we do affects the people around us and what our part is in making the world a better place. At this time of our Bat Mitzvah, our godly soul officially steps up to be a full and active role in my life. We now can use this spiritual energy to make good decisions about how we want to live our lives and as we forge our own personal relationship with Judaism. This is what makes us a Bat Mitzvah. And here we are. We feel so grateful to our family and teachers for bringing us to this great milestone and so full of gratitude to God for the abundant blessings that surround us and fill our lives with comfort, meaning, and so much love. We would like to open our ceremony with a Shehecheyanu blessing in which we thank God for giving us life and sustaining us to reach this special milestone.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, Shehekianu, V'kiyamanu, V'hegianu, Lasman Hazeh. Blessed are you, eternal God, King of the universe, who has given us life, sustained us, and helped us reach this moment. As a part of our bat mitzvah ceremony, we would like to honor our relatives to participate in reading a few select prayers. I'd like to ask Uncle Billy and Aunt Cheryl to please come up and lead us with this prayer, a prayer for the land of Israel. You can follow in your booklets.
Air. Oh my God. Wow. May he who blessed our forefathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, likewise bless all our brethren living in the land of Israel, men, women, and children, and the soldiers who stand guard over its borders on the land, in the air and the sea. Render our enemies impotent and harmless, and crown our soldiers with victory. May the Holy One, blessed be He, protect and deliver our brethren from all trouble and distress, and from all affliction and illness, and may He send blessing and success to all their endeavors, together with all Israel, their brethren, and let us say, Amen.
As we stand here today, it marks the beginning of our lifelong adult connection to our Jewish heritage. As young adults, we are empowered to put the Jewish values we have learned into personalized, meaningful action to make a difference in the lives of others. The Hebrew word mitzvah refers to a commandment commanded by God to be performed as a religious duty. As young ladies, we organized a mitzvah project or a deed to perform in order to fulfill such a commandment. As such, the term mitzvah has also come to express an individual act of human kindness in keeping with the law. We sat down to decide what we wanted to do for our mitzvah project. Our Aunt Kimmy was the first thought that crossed our mind. Raising money to hopefully one day find a cure for reflexive sympathetic dystrophy, of which she suffered from, was something we knew we wanted to do. We decided, since we are sharing this day, we would each do a mitzvah project. For my bat mitzvah project, I decided to plan a big flag football game to raise money for RSD. Reflex sympathetic dystrophy syndrome is a disorder that causes lasting pain, usually in an arm or leg, and it shows up after an injury. The severity of this pain is typically worse than the original injury itself. Sadly, when my Aunt Kimmy was 14, she was leaving school one afternoon and a car ran over her foot. Subsequently, her injury was difficult to diagnose, and 1 year later, she was told she had RSD. My aunt bravely fought a lifelong battle against this disease. I miss her, and I wish she could have been here to share this Benot mitzvah with us. I know she is looking over us today with a huge smile on her face. Due to the COVID pandemic, the approval has been delayed due to field usage. We are working with our township to get the permits needed to secure our date. I can't wait to secure the field so we can play flag football in effort to help find a cure.
As long as I can remember, I've always had compassion and special love for animals. I decided I wanted to volunteer at local animal shelters. However, due to the pandemic, shelters are not permitting volunteers. I thought about other ways to fulfill my mission. To do this, I was able to volunteer to care for horses at a local stable and at an upcoming flea market through Tiny Paws Animal Rescue. I will be volunteering my time and helping to sell items in which all money made will be donated back to help care for the animals. Additionally, I am on the list and will volunteer at the shelter once they deem it safe. It's really amazing to us. We've heard people say that giving can be more enjoyable and satisfying than receiving. We certainly still do love gifts, but we must say that we truly enjoy the feeling of being able to help and do for others.
I'd like to ask my dad to please come up and read Make a Difference.
make a difference. That if you were shown tolerance, you will be patient with others. That if you were treated fairly, you will be a seeker of justice. That if you were shown commitment to causes and issues, then you know you can make a difference. That if you felt friendship, you would find love in the world. May you know the difference between being smart and being wise. May you be strong, but not tough, gentle, but not weak. May you always remember your Jewish roots from where you came. They will help you in where you are going. May the spirit and song of our collective past dance forever in your soul.
Thank you. My Hebrew name is Gabriella Hannah. I was named after my great-grandmother, Hattie Friedman. My great-grandmother was a unique, determined, outwardly spoken woman. She was a real spitfire. She was the kind of lady that wore her heart on her sleeve, but let you know every like or dislike as she saw them. My great-grandmother Hattie was a terrific cook and baker. She was known for her stardust and babka. I think this is the main characteristic I get from her. We both certainly shared a love for baking. I bet if she were here today, we would spend lots of time in her kitchen together. Maybe then I would have her stardust recipe to pass down. Her appearance was very important to her. She would spend hours getting herself picture perfect ready. I can certainly relate. My family didn't name me Gabdashian for nothing. She always had a standing appointment with her hairdresser each week. She had the biggest heart. She was a loyal wife, mother, grandmother, and friend. I guess I followed in her footsteps. She raised my pop-up with the values of kindness and inclusion, something my mother has instilled in both Livvy and I. Don't get me wrong, as sweet as she was on the daily was how tough she could become when needed. She spoke her mind. If someone did something she didn't like to a loved one, or something she didn't agree with, she would let you know. I believe I'm possibly a little bit quieter than her, but one thing I know for sure, she's watching over me, proud of the young lady I have grown to be and continue to develop into.
My Hebrew name is Zayita Maya. I was named for my great-grandfather, my pop-up's father, Milton Friedman. I admired the man he was. It didn't matter who I spoke to about him. The overall message was the same. He gave 150% to everyone. My great-grandfather was loyal to a fault, laid back, caring, nurturing, calm, and easygoing. I am proud to be told I take after him. As everyone has agreed, he was a wonderful man, the kind of man you could never say a bad thing about. I hope to follow in his path, and I think I am on the right track. I connect with my great-grandfather's caring, nurturing qualities. I know I'm still young, but I've taken great care of my pets with few reminders. My great-grandfather Milton worshipped my great-grandmother. I understand that. My mom is my world. My mom to me could be described as Milton's Hattie. Milton was very generous and a hard worker. I too am told the same. While he worked hard to provide for his family, I work hard to earn good grades with the goal of going to college and supporting myself one day. I always tell my mom I will live with her forever. However, I will buy the house and have one for her next door. I'm sure Pop-Up Milton would have done the same. A cool thing I learned about my great-grandfather was that he helped design sweaters for the Navy and develop directional parachute cords that were used in all branches of the military when they jumped out of planes. Due to this service, my great-grandfather was given a deferment by President Roosevelt during World War II, exempting him from active duty. Well, I can't say I take after him in this way, but Gabby certainly does. For those of you who have seen her artistic creations, you know what I mean. At least we are keeping his genes in the family. He always tried to make people happy. My mom shared that she remembers he would come to pick them up for a visit, and her and my aunt would rush to the front seat. They didn't argue over who got to sit up front. They wanted to be the closest to Pop-Up Milton because he would always allow the closest girl to sit on his lap and help him steer the car. I admired the type of man he was and hope to be just like him. I'd like to ask my mom to please come up and read We Remember Them. You can follow in your booklets.
We remember them. At the rising of the sun and at its going down, we remember them. At the blowing of the wind and in the chill of winter, we remember them. At the opening of the buds and in the rebirth of the spring, we remember them. At the blueness of the skies and in the warmth of summer, we remember them. At the rustling of the leaves and in the beauty of autumn, we remember them. At the beginning of the year and when it ends, we remember them. For they are now part of us, we remember them. When we are weary and in need of strength, we remember them. When we are lost and sick at heart, we remember them. When we have joy we crave to share, we remember them. When we have decisions that are difficult to make, we remember them. When we have achievements that we based on theirs, we remember them. As long as we live, they too will live, for they are now a part of us, as we remember them.
Thank you, Mom. God expresses his love for the Jewish people by giving them the Torah and Mitzvah to study and observe. This is discussed in the Avat and Lam prayer. We thank God for this gift, and we promise that we will make it a part of our everyday lives. We do this by constantly studying Torah and observing the Mitzvah and traditions in our homes and families. On my Bat Mitzvah, I am grateful for the gift of Mitzvah, and I am reaffirming my commitment to study and observe this incredible gift. I will now recite the Avat Olam. You can find it in your booklets. Ahavat Olam Beit Yisrael Amacha Havta Torah u'mitzvot Hukim u'mishpatim Otanu limadeta Al Kain Adonai Eloheinu B'shakbeinu uvkumeinu Nasiach behukeha V'nisma b'divrei Torateha U'mitzvoteha Le'olam va'ed Ki heim hayenu V'yorach yameinu V'yorach yameinu Uvahem nege Yomam v'layla Yomam v'layla Ve'ahavatha Ata sir mimenu Le'olamim Baruch Ata Adonai Ohev Amo Yisrael. In a moment, I will recite the Shema prayer. As you may know, the Shema is one of the most fundamental prayers that we hold dear as Jews. We will begin with the responsive reading as contained in your booklet. Please join me by responding in kind. Judaism begins with the commandment, Hear, O Israel.
But what does it really mean to hear?
The person who attends a concert with his mind on business and thinks only of what he will have for dinner.
Hears but does not really hear.
The man who listens to the words of his friend or his wife or his child and does not catch the note of urgency. Notice me, help me, care about me.
Hears but does not really hear.
The man who listens to the news and thinks only of how it will affect business.
Hears but does not really hear.
The person who stifles the sound of his conscience and tells himself he has done enough already.
Hears but does not really hear.
The person who hears the cantor pray and does not feel the call to join with him.
Hears but does not really hear.
The person who listens to the rabbi's sermon and thinks that someone else is being addressed.
Hears but does not really hear.
On this Shabbat, O Lord, sharpen our ability to hear. May we hear the music of the world and the infant's cry and the lover's sigh. For only if we hear you do you have the right to hope that you will hear us. I will continue with the Shema. Please join me. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Kavod Mato Le'olam Va'ed. Ve'ahavta Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavecha u'v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol me'odecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anohi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shivteha b'veiteha uv'lekteha v'adera uv'shokbecha uv'kumecha ugkshartam le'ot al yadeha והיו לטוטפות בין עיניה, ובטבתם מזוזו ביתיה, ובשעריה.
In preparation for becoming a bat mitzvah, I studied the Eshet Hayil in great detail. The Eshet Hayil outlines the ideal characteristic traits and values that would make up a truly accomplished woman. King Solomon, Shlomo HaMelech, wrote the Eshet Hayil over 2,500 years ago. We are told that he wrote this song as a song of prayers to his mother. In this scripture, the verse talk about a woman who is kind and nurturing, resourceful and forward-thinking, selfless and highly motivated. Most importantly, it praises a woman that is modest and moral. External beauty and charm is not a true reflection of a great woman. A woman with good values and priorities is one that should be praised and honored. When we think of this ideal woman, the first person that comes to our mind is our mom. When I started to write this speech, I was at a loss for words, not because I couldn't think of any nice ways to describe my mom, but there were just too many that I wasn't sure how to sum it up, so you guys aren't listening to me talk about my mom for the next hour. But anyways, here it goes. I just wanted to start off by saying thank you for everything you've done in planning our Benot Mitzvah. Every day I watched all the hard work you put in to make this day even more special. I know you for a little more than 14 years. Thanks to COVID for the setbacks, but here we are. That's like my whole life. So I guess we can truly say that we've been through everything together. You're not only my mom, but my best friend. No offense, Livvy. You've watched me grow into the young woman I am today, and my greatest influence is you. I aspire to be just like you when I'm older. We've all made mistakes before, and I've made plenty. You've always told me you learn from your mistakes. I'm sorry for the stupid mistakes I've made over the years, but that's just a part of growing up. Another thing you've always said was as long as you tell the truth, I will always have your back, and you always have. I know no other mom who would do all the things you've done for Livvy and I. You would always give and give and give and keep on giving when it comes to your children. Most of you know my mom was a single parent supporting two beautiful girls for most of our lives. My mom always had the best intentions and would give the world for me and Livvy. As unappreciative as I may act, remember I'm only a kid after all. That's my job, right? Just know I'm so thankful to have you as a mom and all you do for us. I'd also like to thank you for practicing Hebrew with me and helping me write all my speeches, except this one. This one, I gotta admit, was all me. I'm sure I'm making you proud, although I'd like to take credit for this one because I wrote it all on my own. You actually did help me write it. You helped me by being the person you are. I couldn't imagine life without you. Even though you may get into stupid fights, just know I'm yelling at you with love, and I know you're yelling at me because you love me too. Mom, you're the most charismatic, thoughtful, independent, loving, and kind-hearted person I know. As sweet as you are, I love the tough side of you too, pushing me and Livvy to strive to achieve great things and put ourselves out there because, like you say, you can never achieve something if you don't try. I know later in life, I will soon be applying the lessons you've taught me throughout my life into the real world. I know I will be fine. I have learned from you. See, I do listen. You're the best mom a girl could ask for. There is no one who can compare. Thank you for absolutely everything you've done for me. I can't wait to meet you under the rainbow. Best friends forever. I love you to the moon and back. Livvy will now say a few words on her mom too.
To start off my speech, I would just like to say thank you to my favorite person for everything she does for me. I wouldn't be here today if it weren't for you, Mom. You fill my life with lots of joy and love. Thank you for the ongoing support and constant love. I'm so grateful for you and all the memories we created together. Sleepovers in your bed, dinner dates, and our binge-watching General Hospital, to name a few. I'm so lucky to have a mother like you. You're understanding, wise, considerate, and reliable. You always have my back. From the moment I entered the world through today, as I stand here celebrating my Benot Mitzvah, I cherish our relationship and our unbreakable bond. Thank you for believing in me when no one else did. Always having my back and being a great role model. You truly are the best mom anyone could have. I admire your devotion towards our family and always putting me first. Whether it's attending basketball games, watching a new trick I taught the Puggles, or snacking on a crumble cake, you're always out for spending time with me. Mom, I look up to you and see you not only as my mom, but as my best friend. You always say you are so lucky to have us. Well, I am the lucky one. I couldn't imagine it any other way. You truly are my world, and I love you so much. I love you to the moon and back, best friends forever.
Our mom is the ultimate Jewish role model to us, and we are so thankful for that. Eshet hayomim sav v'rachot minim mechravat habalei bala v'shala lo yetzar gemalatu tovin lo ra kol yemei hayehadarsha semeru fishtim vata as behefetz kapeha hai takaniot socher mimer haktavi lachma vata kam be'od laila vatin tein terif leveinta ve'cholen arotecha Zamemasa devatika hehu mi pri hapechanata karem hagra be'oz manecha vat ametro otecha ta'ama ki tov sara lo yebe v'layla neirayadecha Shilchava kishor v'chapecha tamhu falev kapa parshale ani v'yadecha shilchala ev yonotira levein tamishaleg kiho beinta lavushanim. I'd like to ask my mom to join me and Livvy in reciting the English translation of the Eshet Hayom.
A woman of valor who can find far beyond pearls in her value, her family's heart trusts in her, and he shall lack no fortune.
She repays their good, but never their harm. All the days of their life she seeks out wool and linen, and her hands work willingly.
She is like a merchant ship. From afar, she brings her sustenance. She rises while it is still nighttime and gives food to her household and a ration to her maids.
She considers a field and buys it. From the fruit of her handiwork, she plants a vineyard. She girds her loins with might and strengthens her arms.
She senses that her enterprise is good, so her lamp is not extinguished at night. She puts her hands to the distaff, and her palms support the spindle.
She spreads out her palm to the poor and extends her hands to the destitute. She fears not snow for her household, for her entire household is clothed with scarlet wool.
Bedspread she makes herself, linen and purple wool are her clothing. Well known at the gates is her husband as he sits with the elders of the land. Put it back on.
Garments she makes and sells, and she delivers a belt to the peddler. Strength and splendor are her clothing, and smilingly she waits her last day.
She opens her mouth with wisdom, and the teaching of kindness is on her tongue. She anticipates the needs of her household, and the bread of idleness she does not eat.
Her children rise and celebrate her, and her family they praise her. Many daughters have attained valor, but you have surpassed them all.
False is grace, and vain is beauty. A God-fearing woman, she should be praised.
Give her the fruit of her hands, and she will be praised at the gates by her very own deeds.
Yivarechecha Adonai v'yish mirecha Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka Yisa Adonai panav alecha v'yasim lecha shalom. May the Lord make you like Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah. May God bless you and guard you. May God make his countenance shine upon you and be gracious to you. May God bestow favor upon you and grant you peace. May it be God's will that there be put in your heart the love and awe of God, and may your yearning be for the Torah and its precepts. Your eyes should see straight, let your mouth speak wisdom, and your heart meditate awe. May you be granted righteous children who will be engaged in Torah study and good deeds all their lives. May your livelihood come to you legitimately with satisfaction and abundance from God's wide hand. May you be blessed with a good and long life amongst all the righteous people of Israel. Amen. Girls, where do I begin? I'm so proud of you. The two of you continue to amaze me every day. What an experience it has been, and boy has it been one to get here today. Hashtag COVID couldn't stop us. While I have your complete attention, you have nowhere to run, no Instagram feeds to check, Snapchat selfies to send, text to read, or TikToks to create. Are you girls okay?
Yeah.
Are you still listening?
Mm-hmm.
I get to share with you that you have been a beautiful gift to me. The day each of you came into my life, I knew from that moment I held you, it was my job to protect you, teach you, mold you, expose you, and guide you so that one day you will be able to choose your own path and create your own destiny. If today's service was a crystal ball, I can proudly say, without a doubt, you can and will achieve anything you set your minds to. Okay, get off me. I am in awe of the hard work and dedication that brought you here today, and can see all of my hopes and dreams for you starting to become a reality. Gab and Liv, while you display many similar qualities, you are unique in many ways. The bond you share is unbreakable. Never lose sight of who you are and what you stand for. Gabby, you have grown into a strong, confident, loyal, determined young lady. I love supporting you as you grow and watch as you tackle new obstacles and overcome hurdles. There is nothing you can't do. It's hard to believe you are the same little girl that was attached to my hip from the moment you woke till you went to bed. As a matter of fact, you didn't go to bed. You would only sleep if it was lying next to me. Now I must beg you and literally jump into your bed to get any attention from you and steal kisses and hugs while you begrudgingly fight me off. You are still and always will be my Gabberdoodles and my Mizzy Moo. Livvy, my little Spitfire who emulates me completely. From your eye-rolling to your tough exterior, but beyond sweet in every way. You have a unique way of knowing exactly what to do or say to me at the most opportune times. I can always count on you for a bear hug, back rubs, and hidden notes of your love, to name a few. My cuddle bug whose favorite sleepover is in my room. I have watched you grow so much this year. While I am so proud of the mature young lady you have become, I am asking you to pinky promise that I will continue to always be your favorite person. Remember, we don't make promises we can't keep. Girls, there is not enough paper in the world, ink on a page, or words to tell you how wonderful you both are, how proud I am to call you my daughters, how beautiful you are, both on the inside and out, and how much you both amaze me each day. My wish for you as you enter adulthood on your Benot Mitzvah is simply this. Remain true to yourselves. Continue to love with all your heart. Treat others as you would want to be treated. Care for everyone around you. Show compassion and consideration. Know you don't have to be perfect, but always give your best effort. Don't forget, as one door closes, another one opens, and things always happen for a reason. As you continue to embark on your journeys in this world with youthful exuberance, always remember how much I love you. Know that every waking moment of the day, your proud mom has a heart filled with love and joy and unyielding admiration for the beautiful souls you have already become and for the beautiful joys you bring to the world today and always. Know that I am always here for you with endless, unconditional love. If you ever need an ear to listen to, a heart to feel you, or a soul to shine upon you, I will always be there with open arms. I love you to the moon and back. Best friends forever. I win.
Lipstick on me. Okay, it's fine.
Thank you, Mom. Becoming a bat mitzvah means that we are joining in the chain of great Jewish women that precede us. You're an amazing example of everything we hope to become. We love you so much.
I'd like to ask Rabbi Shaya to please come up and share a few words and a prayer on the occasion of our bat mitzvah.
Thank you. Before I say the prayer and give you a little gift here, just want to just say a few words. First of all, it's hard to speak right after what we just experienced. So I do want to say, though, is that Mar and I just, on behalf of the Mar and myself, I just want to say thank you for giving us the gift of you girls for our Hebrew school. It's really been a treasure. And I was actually a teacher on Wednesday nights, so it was really a pleasure having them as girls teaching you. Just want to say, so I was thinking, what should I say today? So the best thing really is to say a story. So I'd like to share a story that I think could really describe their personalities. And you just shared a lot of those details yourselves in what you shared with your mitzvah projects. So the story takes us back many years, back to the shtetl, and the city of Chernobyl. Chernobyl is obviously very familiar to everybody because of the Chernobyl reactor. But there was a rabbi there, his name was Mottel of Chernobyl. And on Saturday nights, he would have a custom to go out to the fields. After Shabbat was over, after Havdalah, he would go out to the fields in the wilderness that was his Saturday night, activity. One time, he went out with his horse and wagon, and he went out to the field, and with a few of his students. And as they're out in the field, suddenly a pack of wolves came, to basically visit them. And if you know the way you mentioned about horses, right? If you ever saw a horse and encounter a wolf, it's not exactly a nice scene. Horses get very, very afraid of wolves. And the horse started jumping, got scared. So the rabbi, what he did was he opened up his shirt, unbuttoned his shirt, and invited the wolves to him instead of to the horse, so that the horse should not get scared of the wolves. And when the wolf came over to the rabbi and started sniffing at his chest. And one wolf after the other started sniffing the rabbi, smelling, touching him, and so on, one wolf at a time. And then the wolves calmed down, and everything was fine. And then when they came back to the city, the students of the rabbi said, "Wow, you must be such a righteous, holy man. The wolves got afraid of you, this, that." And he said, No. I'm not a miracle worker. Everything is fine. I'm just a regular, guy. He said, "What do you mean you're a regular guy? You just calm down. The wolves like that. Wolves don't exactly calm down when they smell a human being's chest. That's a miracle." He says, "No, you don't understand." And he explains them as follows. He says that animals are actually naturally afraid of people, but they're not afraid of animals. Right? That's why the horse was afraid of the wolf, and wolves might be afraid of other animals, and so on and so forth. But he says, if a human being is not afraid of an animal, then the animals become afraid of the human being. He said the problem is that a lot of human beings act like animals. And when you act like an animal, the animal's afraid of you. He said like this, I show them that I don't have any animosity to anybody. I'm pure, I'm fine, I don't judge people, I'm kind to people, I'm nice to people, and I'm not judging. And when when the wolves smelled me, and they were able to touch my heart, and they saw that I'm a kind individual, they were not afraid anymore. They calmed down, one after the other. And that's what happened. So he says it's not a miracle, it's a natural occurrence. I'm sharing this story with you today because I find Gabby and Livvy to be kind individuals. They're just plain simply loving people. They're just unbelievably kind. And you heard what, I don't have to say anything else. I think you all experienced and just witnessed this all by yourself just now, how not only they love animals, but they love people. They're kind. You heard the way their relationship with their mother. I don't have to say anything more, and I think the rest just speaks for itself. So I'll just say my rabbi's blessing, and then I'll go down. So may it be the will of God that you accept upon yourselves the yoke of the kingdom of heaven, the responsibility to do mitzvot. May you do them with all your heart. May God grant you success in all your studies, and may you in your personal growth. May your ancestors, the great Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah, and all you great leaders of the time, gaze down upon you and be truly proud. proud of you, what you are doing and what you have become. May you be role models to all your friends. Encourage them to follow our great traditions. And by showing them an example of what a wonderful person they can be, show the world that there's nothing more precious than a Bat Yisrael, a daughter of Israel, and a Bat Mitzvah, a young woman who does mitzvot. Let me give you each a gift from Chabad.
Thank you.
Mazel tov.
Thank you.
What's that? Oh, you can put it back.
Thank you, Rabbi Shaya. I'd like to ask Naomi and Eli to please come and recite the Shabbat meditation.
God, help us now to make this new Shabbat.
After noise, we seek quiet.
After crowds of different strangers.
We seek to touch those we love.
After concentration on work and responsibility.
We seek freedom to meditate, to listen to our inward selves.
We open our eyes to the hidden beauties.
And the infinite possibilities in the world you are creating.
We break open the gates of the reservoirs.
Of goodness and kindness in ourselves and in others.
We reach toward one holy, perfect moment of Shabbat.
Thank you, Naomi and Eli.
We'd like to ask our grandparents, David and Mindy Friedman, and Donna Friedman, and Alan Verbit, to please come up and recite the grandparents' blessing.
That's you guys.
We thank you, God, for the gift of this moment to witness our grandchildren called in the Torah as the Bat Mitzvah. Our grandchildren brings a unique flavor of joy to life. You have brought youth and laughter and a deep love to our lives. We are proud
to stand today. We are proud to stand with you today when you're Bat Mitzvah.
We pray that God bestows upon you these blessings. May God spread God's sheltering presence over you and protect you. May you know great joy, happiness, and fulfillment in your life. May you walk with your people Israel in pride. And may you understand that to be a Jew is a source of joy and meaning and an important responsibility. May you honor your parents, recognizing that they have brought you into the world in love and in hope. And may you bring them great joy. May you go from strength to strength, yet always be able to accept your own weaknesses and those of others. May you always keep a precious part of yourself as a child, even as you move into adulthood. May you live in a world blessed with peace and harmony, and may your future be bright and hopeful as the world's first rainbow.
Yishmech Elohim, Kishara, Rivka, Rahel, Vilea. May God make you like Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah. Yivarecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. Ya'eh Adonai panan aleicha v'tunecha. Yisi Adonai panan elecha v'yashel lo shalom. May God bless you and watch over you. May God shine his face toward you and show you favor.
May God be favorably disposed toward you, and may he grant you peace.
Everybody knows that my grandchildren are taller than me.
Thank you, Mum, Ellen, Pop-Up, and Annie.
We are told that Shabbat is a gift that God has given to us, the Jewish people. Each week, we welcome Shabbat with much ritual and special prayer. One of my favorite Shabbat songs has always been the Lehadodi prayer, in which we welcome Shabbat with song and celebration in just the same way we would honor and rejoice with a bride at her wedding. Please join us in singing select stanzas from the Lehadodi. You can follow in your booklet. Lechadodi lekrakala pene Shabbat nekabela. Lechadodi lekrakala pene Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zahor v'tibor ehad hishmianu Eham yuhad Adonai ehad Ushmu ehad L'Shem Tefer Ve'letila Lechadodi lekrakala Pene Shabbat nekabela Lekrat Shabbat leuven ehad Ki mekor ha'berah mirosh mikedem nesuha sof ma'aseh b'machshavatila lechadodi lekrakala pene Shabbat nekabela mikdash melech ir meluha kumitzei mitoch ha'harei ha'arav la'shevet b'mei kabahal ehu yachmol alayhem la lechadodi lekrakala pene Shabbat nekabela Ina'ari meyar farkumi livshi bigday tefar ta'ami ayat ben yishai beit halami karva nafsha ge'ala lechadodi lekrakala pene Shabbat nekabela. We are taught that as we sit down to the Shabbat meal each week, we are accompanied by angels who come to our home to join us for the Shabbat festivities. In Shalom Aleichem prayer that we say each Friday night, we welcome the angels and ask them to bless us with the ultimate blessing, that we may be able to celebrate many more Shabbat dinners together with our families in good health and peace. Please join us in singing the Shalom Aleichem, which can be found in your booklets. Shalom Aleichem, Malahei Hasharet, Malahei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malahei Amlahim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Boahem L'Shalom, Malahei Hashalom, Malahei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malahei Hamlahim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Baruch Hu Nile Shalom, Malahei Hashalom, Malahei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malahei Hamlahim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Seitem L'Shalom, Malahei Hashalom, Malahei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malahei Hamlahim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. I'd like to ask Devorah to come up and share a Devar Torah.
amazing are these girls? Oh my goodness, I'm like Felly and I'm not your mother, okay? I was watching my husband as he was speaking to you, and you know, I mean, you all, even if you don't know him as well as I do, did you see how emotional he was? He was practically in tears, and I mean that in the sweetest way, because I second everything that he said about both of you. To know you is to know how genuine and kind and true and beautiful each of you are, really. And you've got an outstanding role model in your mom. So mazel tov to each of you, mazel tov to the grandparents, parents, family, everybody that's here. Bat mitzvah is not just a celebration for you, it's a celebration for all of us, because you now have stepped up and you are now our newest, well, you've been since, from the day you turned 12 on the Jewish calendar, technically, but you are now the newest adult members of our Jewish community, and we are all collectively enriched because of that. So it's really a celebration for all of us. I was thinking for a moment, I couldn't help but think the special bond that you two have with each other. It's really something, and believe me, I'm grateful that I'm one of a large family as well, and I have a sister that I'm very close in age with, and I'm very close to. To watch the two of you is something special. And it reminded me of a story. The holiest place in the world. We're sitting here celebrating a bat mitzvah, a Jewish occasion. Of course, the holiest place in the world, we all know, Israel, right? In Israel, the holiest place in Israel, the holiest city, Jerusalem, right? Holiest place in Jerusalem, the Temple Mount, the Beit HaMikdash. Now, how did this place come about? How was it decided that the Temple Mount was going to be this location? Well, there's a very special story that we're told that relates to how this location in Jerusalem was chosen. And the story dates back to many years before, and we're told that there were two brothers who both lived kind of near each other, they owned land and they farmed on their sites. One was married and had a large family. The other one was a single man. Both of them thrived. They were successful. They were happy. Their harvests were plentiful. They would work their fields and had a plentiful yield coming from it. And each year, after they'd work their fields and harvest their things, they'd store it so that they would have it and be able to store it for long-term storage. Well, one day, one of the brothers was thinking to himself, and he says, my life is so good. I have everything I need and everything I could wish for. I've got a family, I've got plenty of food, I've got nothing to worry about. But my brother, he must be so lonely that he's himself. I feel so bad. I want to do something for him. So in the middle of the night, he steps out under the cover of darkness, and he goes to his storehouses, and he takes out some of the wheat that he has, and he says, listen, if I can give my brother something, I can't give him the family, but if I can give him something, I can give him some wheat. So he steps out, and he brings some of the wheat under the cover of darkness, puts it away secretly, and gives it to his brother. Unbeknownst to him, the very same time, the single brother is sitting at home, and he thinks to himself, my life is so good. I've got so much. I've got so much more than I ever need. Why am I sitting here with all this when my brother's got a family to feed? And he goes and takes some of the wheat from his storehouse and goes over the hill to bring some of the wheat to put in his brother's storehouses. Well, the sun comes up the next day, and they're going about their thing, and it's the strangest phenomenon, because even though each of them had brought wheat to the other, they come and they find that their storehouses are full. So what's going on? Well, this goes on for a few nights. One night after the other, they're somehow missing each other as they go, and it's just a conundrum. They can't figure it out. But then, sure enough, one night, as they are going under the cover of their darkness again, and they are going to be able to drop it in the other one's storehouse, they bump into each other in the center of the mountain. And suddenly it dawns on them, oh my goodness, this is what it's about. This is why it happened. We each loved each other so much that we only wanted to do for each other. And look at that. And right there at the spot, they just dropped their wheat and embraced each other. And we are told that this location, this place there, is Temple Mount in Jerusalem, and that is how God chose a place to build the mountain, to build the temple, the holiest place in the world. Because Gabby, Livvy, you think sisters, love between sisters is just, it's how lucky are you, right? You guys are the lucky ones. But the world is enriched through the love and kindness that you have for one another. And you certainly, I'm sure, have that sibling bantering that you guys have. That, listen, I grew up in a large family. I know all about it. But regardless of that, I have always seen the kindness that you have for one another, how you are always looking out for each other. You've always got each other's back. And you should know that it's something very unique and very special, and something that you will continue to build into adulthood, I hope. So I do want to share a thought from the Torah portion of this week as well. It's a double Torah portion, actually, Acharemot and Kedoshim. But I'm going to jump over to the second one. The title of the second Torah portion is called Kedoshim, holy, to be holy. And we open up the Torah portion, and God's instruction at the very beginning of the Torah portion is that you shall be holy. You're like, be holy. What should I do to be holy? Should I move into the synagogue? I practically have. It hasn't made me holy. Do we just say prayers all day? What do we do to be holy? What is God asking of us? And I thought about it, and it's like, what is it? What defines what makes us holy? And one of the things I was thinking about is, when we say a blessing, there's different types of blessings. And I'm sure you're familiar with one of the common blessings the common words that we begin with blessing with. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, melech haolam. Blessed are you, God, our God, King of the universe. And then we might go on to say, Hamotzi lechem min haaretz, that has given us bread, taken out the bread from the earth. But then there's another type of blessing. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, melech haolam. And we add the words, Asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav, Vitzivanu. Those additional 4 words define a different type of blessing. It's a blessing that we say when we are doing a mitzvah. Specifically, for example, we might say, soon we'll light Shabbat candles. Asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav vitzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat, to light a Shabbat candle. Or we light the Hanukkah candles, of course, lahadlik ner shel Hanukkah. Or on eating matzah, which we just did. Asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav vitzivanu al achilat matzah. Or when we wash our hands, Asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav vitzivanu al netilat yadayim. All of these things are the common thread is that it's a mitzvah. But what are these words that we're saying? Asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav vitzivanu. We're saying, thank you, God. Blessed are you, our God, King of the universe. Asher kidshanu. You have given us the opportunity to make ourselves holy. Asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav, with your mitzvah vitzivanu, and you have commanded us, right, to light the Shabbat candles. Every one of these is an opportunity for us to do that. And when you were talking about your mitzvah projects, which you spoke so beautifully about, you spoke about mitzvah through the facet of seeing it as a commandment or an act of kindness. I'd like to look at it through yet another lens. A mitzvah also comes from the word savta, the Hebrew word savta, which means to connect. Every time we do a mitzvah, we have a connection opportunity to God. And literally, when we're saying these blessings, we're saying, thank you, God. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to connect with you. I'm so grateful. And when we have a connection with God, through that connection comes blessing. Think about it. I always say it. Before some of the most recent advances of technology, it was very difficult to imagine connections with something so spiritual. I'm going to tell you, a mitzvah is a literal connection with God. Literal? God? Does that even coincide? Right? God's not literal to us. But then it comes technology, and suddenly, if I were to tell you that I can spend away my entire savings account from my telephone, and maybe even buy a car and a house, you would say, oh yeah. If I would have told you that 20 years ago, you'd be like, yeah, you're crazy. But now we know technology has an ability to connect us with something that we can't see. And everybody knows That if you can watch a movie on data or you can watch a movie streaming on Wi-Fi, it's not the same, right? You want a stronger connection. And every time we do a mitzvah, it is like, yeah, we're throwing another rope up and like thickening our broadband, to having a stronger reception so that we can connect better to God and be able to channel those blessings down to us. So Gabby, Livvy, you're standing here at your bat mitzvah, sitting right now, and I'm thinking, you talk about bat mitzvah, you become a daughter, a girl, a woman that does mitzvot. And as I'm thinking, standing here today in the spirit of this Shabbat, and the Torah portion, we speak about Kedoshim Tihiyu, you shall be holy. I pray that you be blessed to live a life that is filled with mitzvot, filled with positive experiences and strong connections to your Jewish roots, and those same connections that you make with God through your mitzvot should also be a source that channels an abundance of blessings to you and to your families and to the entire community. So Mazel Tov, keep making everyone proud just the way you are. You are fabulous, you are amazing, and I can't wait to see what the future brings for both of you. All right. Rest time is over.
Thank you, Devorah.
Please join as I sing the Adonai Love. In the Adonai prayer, we proclaim God as one and eternal. By reciting it, we begin Shabbat. We signify that this is not the start of one more day, but that Shabbat is on a far higher level and therefore represents a new beginning in our service of God. Please follow in your booklets as we sing. Adonai Olam Asher Mala B'terem kol yitzor nira li'ei nasa ve'evto kol hazai melech shemo nikra v'harei hilot hakol levado yimlot nora v'hu haya v'hu hoveh v'hu yiyeh b'tivara hu ehad V'yein sheni Lam shilo la'bira V'li reishit v'li tali V'lo ha'oz ha'mezra V'hu eli v'hai go'eli V'tzor heli b'yitzara V'hu nisi u'manosli V'nakosi b'yomekra V'ha'akel ha'kid ruhi V'yed ishan ra'ira V'im ruhi giviati Adonai li v'lo ira. Tonight formally separates our days of childhood as we transition into becoming young Jewish women. To mark the occasion of our bat mitzvah and observance of Shabbat, we will light candles together. We are taught that as a Jewish woman lights Shabbat candles, she not only brightens her home with the light of the flame, but also brings a spiritual glow of blessings into her house for her entire family. As we light candles this evening, we are joining a line of Jewish women dating back to our matriarch, Sarah, who have been lighting candles to usher in Shabbat and holidays. This is a very special moment, one we hope to be able to continue each week.
To light them, Gabby.
like to ask all the women to please rise to light a candle and recite the blessing for the Shabbat candles. Please come to the tables in front and light a candle and say the prayer. The blessing is in your books.
Let me just get to the bottom.
Gabby.